Mark 15, verses 20, and to the end of the chapter, we continue and pick up again with Jesus being crucified, his death and burial. With this, always ask the question, or variations of the questions, what strikes you the most about this text? Where do you see God's grace? Obviously, before that, where do you see sin? And what did you learn to pray for? One thing that's telling about this section, we see the Mark theme really spelled out. Who is the Christ? Is Jesus truly the Christ? We see a Roman soldier at the cross of all places, signifying this must be indeed the Son of God by all that Jesus portrayed and said in these last hours. So I'm going to think about, again, be ready to talk about this text after our reading. When they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothing on him. Then they led him out to crucify him. A certain man, Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country. They forced him to carry Jesus' cross. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of a skull. They tried to give him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. They crucified him, and they divided his garments, casting lots for them to decide what each of them would take. Now it was the third hour when they crucified him. The superscription stating the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." They also crucified two criminals with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by ridiculed him, shaking their heads and saying, "Ha, you who are going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross." In the same way, the chief priests, along with the experts in the law, mocked him among themselves. "He saved others," they said. "He cannot save himself. Let the Christ, the King of Israel, come down now from the cross, so that we may see and believe." And those who were crucified with him also insulted him. When it was the 6th hour, darkness came over the whole land until the 9th hour. At the 9th hour, Jesus shouted with a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of those standing there heard this, they said, "Listen, he's calling Elijah." Someone ran, filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink. They said, "Leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down." Jesus cried out with a loud voice and breathed his last. The curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. When the centurion who stood facing him saw how he cried out and breathed his last, he said, "Truly this man was the Son of God." There were also women watching from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, the younger of Joseph, and Salome. When he was in Galilee, they followed him and served him. Many other women also came up with him to Jerusalem. It was already evening, and since it was preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph from Arimathea, a prominent member of the council who was himself waiting for the kingdom of God, boldly went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Pilate was surprised that he was already dead. He summoned the centurion and asked him if Jesus had been dead for a long time. When he learned from the centurion that it was so, he granted the body to Joseph. Joseph bought a linen cloth, took him down, wrapped him in the linen cloth. He laid him in a tomb that had been cut out of a rock, and he rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Joseph, were watching where the body was laid. This is the word of our God. Again, God's blessings as you discuss this moment of history that changed the world and changed our eternities. May God, again, give you insight and a great sense of awe, the love that he has for us all.